Hey guys, it's Lich K. Arthas. I was the #1 ranked Seer for every Mistfall Hunter playtest. Today I'll just be showing you how to play the Blasphemer for the Mistfall Hunter demo playtest. Compared to last playtest, Blasphemer feels much weaker. They have increased your cooldowns by about 500%. For example, you used to be able to get your Zeal cooldown down to about 5 seconds of downtime. Now it is around 27 seconds. They have increased your curse mana, the mana that you use to use your skills, like your leap here. They've increased it from 4 to 6 mana, so 50% increase. I don't believe any class in a vacuum should lose to Melee Seer ever, but this is reality, so you are actually able to probably kill most people simply because nobody plays Blasphemer, so they don't know how Blasphemer works. So you can punish people's lack of knowledge. I will tell you the #1 tip for success in solos. This works for every class. This is not just Blasphemer, but especially Blasphemer. It is very important to gauge your opponent's skill level, okay? You first need to be able to tell in about 5 seconds if this is a player you are able to kill or not. What do I mean by that? Well, first, our ability here, Impact Sigil, it summons an ethereal wall behind somebody, wherever you're looking, and it pulls them towards you. And with the talent, you would reduce their move speed and their healing. You also gain 2 curse mana whenever you wall a target. So you can wall multiple targets and gain more curse mana. So you can gauge if it's an opponent you can kill if they get hit by the wall, right? Because an experienced player who sees the hand gesture and hears the sound has enough time to dodge it and iframe it and go through it. If they do that, it means they're experienced. Sometimes, if I think it's just lucky or it's a fluke, I do it again. And if they dodge it again, that means I probably won't be able to kill this person. So, always use your wall to see if it is someone who knows what they're doing or not. If you land the wall, more than likely, you're going to be able to kill them. Wall is the only way for you to pretty much close the distance, considering this and this is very easily reactable. So, the only real way for you to safely gap close is to wall. And like you saw right there, it desyncs a lot. So sometimes it'll pass right through the target and not even hit them. Another reason Blasphemer is very weak, although, I'm sure hopefully that gets fixed. What if they do dodge the wall and you can't kill them? What do? Well, here's the next skill. Shapeshift. Transform into a rune and greatly increase move speed. The base version of this is very bad. You need Potency, the talent, which increases the duration and movement speed by, I think it's like 30%. It actually makes the skill very good. So, if you face someone who you can't beat, you have to do this and run to the other side of the map. You cannot kill them. It is not worth it. So this playstyle is how you will find success with the Blasphemer. You need to be able to pick and choose the fights that you can win versus your specific opponent. Although you are heavily unfavored versus classes like Black Arrows and Sorcerers, it is very important to understand that every single player is different. You need to be able to quickly see if your opponent is killable or not. One new addition to this playtest is that your right mouse button is now a forward advancing strike. However, it is very slow, and the frames are really bad. You will slide past people, and only the mace at the end of the attack will hit somebody. You can also not 180 with it. You can only turn about 90 degrees. The recovery frames on it are also really bad, so it's very punishable. Our other weapon skills, we have Drain. This heals you based on damage dealt. You would mainly only use this for PvE. There are some very niche uses for PvP, which include you reading your opponent really well. However, it's just not very consistent. I would only use this for PvE. One of the upsides of Melee Seer is that it is objectively the best PvE class for both bossing and general mobs. Our next rune is Rune Corruption. It is a forward dash that deals magic damage and also reduces healing that your enemy receives. A lot of the stuff on Melee Seer is not very consistent and can be kind of buggy. However, Corruption is one of your few consistent abilities, so it will be the primary ability you'll be using in PvP to close gaps. Our third and last rune here is Rune Stun. You leap forward, dealing damage to enemies hit and inflicting stun. You also take the talent Vault to double the dash distance of it. What it looks like is this. It is a very far forward advancing leap that stuns somebody, which guarantees 2 hits. This one has the same problem as your normal right mouse button, where it will slide past targets and it is very difficult to hit. I would only use this if you're confident that you can land it, or you're desperate to make a very big value engagement. Usually, whenever I'm chasing during a fight, I will always use Corruption instead, but for engagements, I might use the stun. Next, let's go over the talents. So, not much has really changed since the last playtest. You'll pretty much be using all of the exact same talents, but we can go over them real quick. So, Zeal Enhancement. You want to go up this side of the Zeal tree. This makes it so that your Zeal has super armor, which means you can trade hits and not get staggered during the duration of your Zeal. Whenever you attack with your mace, you increase the duration of your Zeal up to 3 times for 3 seconds. You also gain 2 curse mana per attack whenever you have your Zeal active. Next, the one we spoke about, Potency, increase the duration of movement speed of Shapeshift. Next up, we have Internal Injury and Mastery. These are the ones that support your wall skill, reduces the healing and the movement speed, and you gain curse mana whenever you hit targets. This one doubles the dash distance of your stun. And this one, gain a certain amount of curse mana after breakaway. That is the free evade you get while you are being staggered, when you can dodge mid-combo, pretty much. You gain 2 curse mana back. It is very good, considering how you are not generating any curse mana whenever you have Zeal active, and you are also using Breakaway a lot during the course of a fight. Next, let's go over the consumables. So, I believe you can run a variation of Inspiring Pills as your tactical item. You can run it with keys, you can run it with wings, you can run it with Tracking Ashes, if you're hunting players. However, I just don't like to change my keybinds because I don't want to use the utility wheel, and I don't really have any space here on the hotbar. So I just run 4 pills, and you can't really go wrong. This reduces the remaining cooldown of all skills by about 30%, 30 to 40%. You can only use these after your Zeal duration has expired, because the cooldown for Zeal actually does not start until the duration is over. They changed that, mainly for this pill. Next, let's Essential. So these are what I believe to be some of the most important affixes for melee Seer and solos. Just ignore these little blue pips here. This is just wine that I'm using for a different build that I'm running. So you want Stoic 5 in solos, almost on every class for every build. It's just 15% heal whenever you hit 30% HP. It's very good for staying alive and gives you a second chance. Elusive and Blessing. I ranked Elusive pretty low before. However, after playing melee for so many hours now, I think Elusive 5 is actually pretty mandatory for melee Seer. Because your neutrals are so bad, it is very hard to reach an opponent if they've already evaded your gap closers. So the only way to really catch an opponent is just have more evades than them. So usually how this gameplay goes is that someone will evade away from you and you evade towards them, and you swing. If they evade that swing, you evade again. And you keep this process until they eventually run out of evades, maybe, and you actually get to hit them. And if that doesn't happen, then you just shapeshift and run away. Next up is Blessing. It increases your buff duration by 25% at level 5. However, because of the way the calculations for Zeal work on the right side of the Zeal tree whenever you attack, for some reason this adds up to about 40% increase of buff duration. This is very good, obviously, because your class pretty much revolves around your Zeal. If you don't have your Zeal, you're incredibly weak. Next up is Valor 5, kind of just a no-brainer. Attack 7.5% and defense penetration. It's just the best damage affix in the game. You will have very little kill potential if you don't have at least Valor 5. And since we're building mainly for like Blessing and Elusive and taking all this stuff that doesn't give us damage but makes it so that our class can kind of work, You just kind of have to do it. If I ever have any extra points, I just put them into Ethereal, just because it gains you quite a big benefit for very little investment. I know I also ranked this one a little lower, however, after a bit more testing in solos, it's really good for running away and chasing. It's just very good being able to jump off something, and then someone doesn't expect you to take any damage. Moving on to the purple gear, this is kind of what it looks like. You can take a lot more damage affixes here. You can take way more tankiness affixes here, like resilience and unyielding. And in legendaries, you can get everything you want. You get more damage from Strife, 5 Elusive, 5 Blessing, 4 Ethereal, 4 Resilience, Stoic 5, Aegis 5, Valor 7. And if you want any of these loadouts, I will have the loadout codes listed in the description below, so all you have to do is copy it and then import it into your loadout. I'll now be showing you some solo gameplay. I will be streaming the game every day on twitch.tv/lichkarthus. If you have any questions, feel free to stop by while I can answer them live, or you can leave them in the comments down below. If you find the video helpful, please leave a like, and have a good day.
Hurry up and ring it. Take your junk out of here. finally open. If you want to make your fortune